Good morning and welcome to Equity Story Trade Watch, the 3rd of August at the beginning of the reporting season. I'm on my own today. Dave is unfortunately busy, but hopefully we'll have a few stories to tell. It has been very quiet though, saying that, but there has been some news, I suppose, so we can definitely discuss a couple of things. Before I go on, you've got the disclaimer in front of you, so just have a quick read through that, meaning that we are only discussing stocks, looking at the fundamentals and technicals, and really pretty much everything we talk about is in general nature only. All right, so what the market did overnight, so let's have a look through that first. And unfortunately, the Dow was pulled back to about 1.23%. S&P was down as well. NASDAQ was down slightly, so it wasn't too bad. There was a pretty mixed bag actually last night on the NASDAQ reporting season-wise. If we look at something like Uber, that was up 18 or 19%. PayPal was up 1.2%. And actually after hours was up about 11.6% from what I can see at this stage. Airbnb was up 4.6, but after hours is down 8.7. So it could be another mixed bag on NASDAQ overnight. But generally speaking, I think we talked about it over the last few days that it's better than expectation. So that's a good sign. And that's why we've been still playing those tech space stocks where hopefully we can make some money in the short term. So moving back to, and I'm going to now move to looking at actual our screen. So if you just bear with me for a second, I'm going to switch back to Reuters so you can see exactly what I'm looking at. And really would see what's making the news this morning. And I think the market's actually down today on the back of, you've got BHP and some of the commodity players down. And that's the result of, if I'm looking at trading economics, and everyone should have that as their first point of call in the mornings, pretty much all commodities are down. You've got gold slightly down, you've got crude oil down, you've got coal down, coal down, iron ore down. So you've got pretty much copper is the only one I think is quite steady at the moment. But general feeling still is we're heading down with the commodity prices because of the perception of, rising interest rates means weaker economies, potentially recession. So that's what's happening right now. And as a result, we've got a lull in the commodity space, and where maybe we can call it a mini slump, mini cycle. So let's hope we can pick up some stocks on the way up when we feel that we're returning back to some sort of growth. So what stocks are reported this morning? And like I said, it's been fairly quiet this morning. I've only got maybe 3 or 4 to go with, and we'll go through look at the actual announcements themselves. So the first one I've got was CBE, and we talked about it yesterday. And actually, they've gone into trading halt as well. So presumably, I'm thinking they're going to raise some cash on the back of some drilling. So let's have a look. Trading halt. There we go. So material capital raising by the company. Surprise, surprise. But anyway, let's have a look at the actual announcement this morning from CBE, because they're just talking about more drilling. And you can just see why I'm sort of thinking that this could be interesting to look through over the next few weeks if they keep coming up with some actually assay results, right? So here we go with CBE, and I'll show you the chart in a second. So we're looking at mineralization, so further copper mineralization sector on drill hole NCP09 and Ngami copper project in Kalahari Copper Belt. Mineralization goes to chrysocolla, malachite, fine-grade chalcocite, which occur over interval. And they're also talking about, and so if you look at chrysocolla, I've got a little bit here. This is how it looks like. Quite nice. Obviously I collect some minerals, and I go finding, this is actually from Africa. So this is probably what they are picking up from in Botswana. So that's a primary copper mineralization. So that's good. And hopefully, if we see the assay results come through over the next few weeks, it will maybe keep CBE on the go. And I know they're raising cash at the moment, so there could be either a little bit of a pullback, or we might get more punters excited about this. But let's see what happens. Like I said, I mean, commodity space at the moment is fairly flattish for me. Not too much excitement. There's a few stocks here and there that move up and down on some results, but generally speaking, I think the excitement somewhere else right now, maybe a bit more lithium and maybe tech stocks in a way. But anyway, that's a one to watch. Put in your watch list and see how it goes. Let's have a look at the actual chart now on CBE, just to give you I'll probably look through whether this is tradable or not. And we looked at it yesterday on ATA. So let's put this in as our chart, and I'll go through and check this through to our proper charts that we look at, so we can see the trends and everything else. So you can see that was the big jump last 2 days. So they had three days over the last 2 weeks where they reported the drilling, and what hole by hole, which is quite interesting way of doing it. But they are just pretty much reporting on everything, visuals they see, and so on. So it's still very early. We just don't know what the asset result's going to be. But when you're reporting that you've got some thicknesses of primary copper like chalcocite and so on, you get interested for sure. And we know the Kalahari Copper Belt is fairly well endowed with copper, so one to watch. Let's see what they come up with. But the punters are already flocking to it and potentially could get excited. And you can see the company's taken advantage of the jump to raise some cash to go and drill. I mean, that's the whole idea of it is. So let's see. And, I suppose without not getting the ESA results, they are hoping that the investors are seeing enough in those results for them to get excited and put some money into the coffers of the company. Let's look at some of the other results. So I've got Lynas as well. So I'm going to put that in first while I've got this open. And they've released an announcement saying they're going to put in 500 million to expand production at Mount Weld. So they're going to develop and expand, which is absolutely exactly what you want to see. That actually chart looks very, very good. This is on the weekly. So if this stays like this by the end of the week, you'd say probably this is going to be a bit of a buy by Friday. And like I said, expanding production is key to all mining companies, right? Without expanding production, you're going to probably have a flat line of performance, unless, of course, maybe the prices of commodities spike up significantly. But you always want to see production profile going up. Otherwise, yeah, you might see a little bit of non-movement. So this is good for the long term. And like I said, this is one of my favorite stories in this space. It's looking pretty strong. A nice bounce. You can see we talked about it. Maybe that $8 is the support. And yeah, looking pretty good. So let's just wait till Friday. Would I be getting excited right now? Yeah, I would, but I would not be buying right now. I'd probably just be waiting because you just never know. We've got this Pelosi in Taiwan at the moment. You just don't know what the reaction might be from China. Although we see, we're hearing what the US said. They're going to put out a lot of noise, fly some planes over, maybe throw some grenades around. But let's hope it doesn't get any further than that. So fingers crossed by Friday, everything should settle down again, and maybe we'll have a better market. And of course, we've got to have to wait and hope that the US markets definitely behave themselves. But that's looking good for Friday. So let's just wait for that. Next one I've got is Orica. And let's have a look at that chart, because again, we talked about it. Dave likes it chart wise. I'm still probably in the camp. I need to see more of it. I know that they've had a tough time of it. You can see, they come down during 2021, and it's recovering now 2022. And, it's obviously fully geared towards the mining industry, and that is falling. So that's the key for me. While the chart looks good, fundamentally, I'm thinking right now, maybe I don't want to buy it on their highs. And even though they've had an announcement today looking to acquire Axis, right, which will give them another, I suppose, good addition to their repertoire of mining services, I maybe want to pick it up closer to the trend lines, to be honest, fundamentally. It was unprofitable last year, right? So that's the other issue. I know they're talking about they should have a better year, but they're still talking, and they reiterated the guidance today, but they're still talking, Orica today, that it's still going to be problematic in 2023. So I'm going to take the cautious view and probably say I'm going to wait for the results to come through in the next 3 weeks. And then maybe I'll reassess where I'm sitting with this at. I want to see what the PE is going to be like. I want to see what the actual full year results and the outlook will be, guidance and everything else of that nature when they release their results. So I'm not buying this at the moment fundamentally. However, of course, chart wise, you're probably looking pretty good at the moment, and you can maybe get that 1750 out of it at this stage. But they're going to raise some cash with this acquisition. So maybe that's one of the reasons why it's been going up, maybe less on the guidance or the result they're going to have, more on what was going to happen. And here we go. Maybe some insiders we knew that there's going to be an acquisition of scale. And it's not bad for a $7 billion company they're buying. They're paying like 300 million or something like that, all up, which is okay. So Orica looking good chart-wise. Like I said, fundamentally, I'm just going to probably wait. Last one I've got is ASX. Now, these guys are trying to change the chess system. It's been trying to change that for a long time. And look, this is the problem with having a player like ASX being on a monopoly. And if they want to upgrade systems, change do things around, they have to be very careful about it, because we are so reliant on the chess system, on ASX, to provide us with, the information that we need, the trading that we need, and everything else. The integrity of the market is dependent on ASX. So it is difficult for them to change things without delays, because, when you do, I suppose, change software and so on, there's going to be some teething problems as per usual. So there's got to be a lot of testing done, and if one thing goes wrong, you could have a collapse of ASX. So understandably why there's delays, but it's very frustrating from that point of view when you see those sort of updates. But look, the chart doesn't look too bad. I'm probably thinking more sideways, to be honest, more than anything else. As you can see, since 2019, it's been going sideways. Maybe there's a bit of upside here from 2018. But for the moment, I'd probably wait. I would not be getting into this. And if I look at the company financials, it's not cheap. 35 times, 3.6 yield. Again, probably pass for me. Not too exciting. I think there's better things out there. So if I go back now to what's actually happening on our ASX today, see what's trending up. So we're going to have a look through this side. So Lynas is going quite well, of course. Let's see what else. Alcidian, one of ours, is going okay-ish, up 3.3%, 15.5. That's actually not a bad chart. So let's have a look at the chart here. It should come up when we click it in. So just trying to get through that. That's the weekly. Let's go to the daily. Sorry. The weekly, this is still not too well. It's not great, but it's trying through to get, and that's the problem right now for the weekly. But we are trading this on the daily. So for me, again, you can see those trend lines are always going to be big roadblocks ahead of some of these recovery stories. Again, once again, shows that, hopefully it will sort of trade it once, comes back and goes again. That's the idea here. So for me, if you still haven't got in, 15 cents, maybe 15, 14 and a half, 14 cents would be somewhere where I'm looking to get into it. If we believe the story is a long-term recovery play, and which we do. So that's looking pretty good. What else do I like from here that we looked at? So we've got, we talked about ReadyTech. Again, these stories will bounce up and down. This is lightly traded. You could potentially, if you bought it around the 320, 330, 10%, maybe take a profit. They're still going to have to release the results. You just never know how things they're going to come up with. But that's looking okay. We talked about Elmo, another one that I think was $3.50 in it. That's looking actually quite decent. That's definitely looking like it wants to at least touch that 310 on there. So that's good. From Mika, a little one as well. Let's have a look at that one. That's probably going just sideways for the time being, unless they release more results. Maybe probably capital raising, like we talked about yesterday as well. SiteMinder, another one of our favorites on a recovery story. That's got that 445 as the resistance. Probably rather pay $4 for it than 427, sort of in the middle of no man's land in this market. Let's see what else we've got. Xero, let's have a look at that one. And I think, again, that was okay. That's looking a little bit better on a daily. So potentially, maybe you can make a case, a little one for a little trade, maybe. And again, I'd rather if I look at the weekly, I'd rather buy this for the long term, to be honest. And just struggling to get through that 94, 95. Well, again, wait for the end of the week, I think, on that one. A few announcements coming through in the US as well that might stop it back. Let's have a Whisper. I mean, remember, Whisper was one of our thought it's going to bounce back. It tried that, it failed. Probably, hopefully, have that $1 as its support and maybe bounce back and try that 124 again. Let me see what else I've got here. So John Ling's, that's looking okay as well, if I remember right. So again, it's kind of just running out of steam, probably coming back to that $7. So that's where you're probably going to have your stop loss. So all in all, look, our stories are going okay. It's been a fairly checkered week this week. Had a pretty good couple of weeks for sure. And July was pretty good, a good rebound from June. August is starting a little bit, meh type of performance at the moment. I think it's probably looking for a bit more direction. We've just gone through halfway the reporting season in the US. And it's actually, like I said, it's been okay-ish, better than expected. So that's good news. So hopefully, once we get over these Pelosi things, once we get further down the line, maybe we'll have a little bit more positivity towards the end of the week and next week also. So all in all, still holding some of these tech stocks. If you haven't taken any profits, I suppose. And like I said, I always encourage profits in this market. It's a very difficult market right now. But some of the longer term holds, no problems. They're looking okay. Thank you very much for your listening to the Trade Watch today. Dave will definitely be back tomorrow. Have a great day. Have a good trading and see you again. Cheers.